Okay, I just turned on the recording and we're going to begin. Want to welcome everyone to this Sunday morning, October 25th, Fellowship of Spirit Zoom meeting. And we hope that you have a good experience because we are here for the purpose of love and communicating love and just learning about love. It's all about love at Fellowship of Spirit for one another as well as God. Your understanding of God. Okay. Do we have any announcements? Are there announcements? We just got through talking. If someone joined us a little late, George is at home and is going through radiation for about 6 weeks, and his son is there taking care of him, and he is doing better, and he does feel all of our prayers and our meditations, our energies going toward him. So don't stop. He still continues to need that as he goes on his healing. Does anyone have any other announcements? If so, just unmute yourself. And I haven't muted everybody yet. So Jerry, do you have announcements? You want to tell them what you're going to be doing?
Well, I'm leaving next weekend for Denver, and then I'll be flying to Belize on the 5th of November to go see Susan. And I'll be there for 2 weeks, and then I'll be back into Denver the Thursday before, around the 19th, and then I'm going to try to be home that following weekend if the weather agrees with me. If it doesn't, then I'll probably stay there for Thanksgiving, but I should be able to make it home before Thanksgiving, and so I'll be back here. I have all of the speakers lined up for November, and if you will send your title of your talks to Ron and Christine, I would appreciate it. And Fred, if you'll let them know what days you'll be available in November, that would be great. I know you probably won't know, until like a week or so in advance, but just when you do know, if you will let them know. I will see you all on Course in Miracles and on Sunday from Belize, but it will be a little more difficult to coordinate things. So I'm leaving things coordinated. And if anybody is motivated to speak in December, December slate is wide open. And if you have something specific you would like to share, or you have any particular thoughts like during the holidays or about December or the first of the year, please let us know so I can start tucking things into December. So just let me know, okay? I love you all, and I will think of you while I am down there with Susan. And I'll try to come home, but she keeps trying to figure out ways to kidnap me and make me stay there.
No. You're going to go physically, but actually in the Zoom world, you're not even going to be gone.
No, I'll still be right here. Yeah, right here with all of you.
Still be here. So anyway,
Yes.
we wish you a good journey and a happy time down there, and that everything goes well for you and Susan too.
It will be a blessing.
All right. I am very disorganized this morning, so I don't have anyone to pray. Would someone like to pray for us this morning? Opening prayer.
I think Linda is saying something.
I have one. It's called A Prayer for Autumn Days.
Oh, beautiful.
Probably appropriate.
Okay. God of the seasons, there is a time for everything. There is a time for dying and a time for rising. We need courage to enter into the transformation process. God of autumn, the trees are saying goodbye to their green, letting go of what has been. We too have our moments of surrender. With all the insecurity and risk, help us let go when we need to do so. God of fallen leaves lying in colored patterns on the ground, our lives have their own patterns, and we see the patterns of our own growth. May we learn from them. God of misty days and harvest moon nights, there is always the dimension of mystery and wonder in our lives. We always need to recognize our power-filled presence. May we gain strength from this. God of harvest wagons and fields of ripened grain, many gifts of growth lie within the season of our surrender. We must wait for harvest in faith and hope. Grant us patience, when we do not see the blessings. God of geese going south for another season, your wisdom enables us to know what needs to be left behind and what needs to be carried into the future. We yearn for insight and vision. God of flowers touched with frost and windows wearing white designs, may you love your heart, keep your hearts open, and keep them from growing cold in the empty seasons. God of life, you believe in us, you enrich us, you entrust us with the freedom to choose life. For all of this, we are grateful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was a really nice prayer. Lots of good information there. Thank you much. Fred, do you want to sing a song for us?
Hello. Can you hear me
Hi.
now? Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Nice.
Now I'm going to mute hold it, Fred. I'm going to mute everybody and then
I'll unmute myself.
You unmute. Okay, unmute you. Yeah, there you go. That way we won't have any feedback.
Except for you.
No, I mute myself too.
So I picked something really easy this morning, little waltz. We used to sing this song a lot. This is There's Joy in My Heart. It's a simple song, easy for all of us to sing, and easy for me. There is joy in my heart and a smile on my face, 'cause I love the world. There's a song on my lips, love the whole human race. I love the world. Feel my spirits are singing, feel happiness ringing like bells that are ringing on high. God is here everywhere, joy is filling the air, 'cause I love the world. I love the world. There is joy in my heart and a smile on my face, 'cause I love the world. Oh yeah, there's a song on my lips, love the whole human race. I love the world. Feel my spirits are ringing like happiness, ringing like bells that are ringing on high. Love is here everywhere, joy is filling the air, 'cause I love the world. I love the world. I love the world.
Thank you, Fred. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Does someone have a spiritual reading today? No. Okay, well, that was probably my fault. Anyway, well, Linda's prayer was almost like a spiritual reading. It was pretty nice and long, and we're going to call it good. Okay. Mark Wolf, as everyone that's here is familiar with, is our brother who moved far away, but he is with us today. He's been with us and bringing us some very, very nice messages. And today his message is the talk of his talk is Halloween, the most spiritual holiday. So that's kind of piques our curiosity as what he's going to talk to us about. So there you are. Let's welcome Mark.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is so much fun to be here with you today, and thank you for letting me speak to you this morning. I am quite honored. You know, it's the end of October, and we're finally very close to the end of 2020. Once this year is finally over, I don't know if it's going to go down in the history books or if it's going to get its own chapter in Ripley's Believe It or Not. Remember Ripley's? It's just been a believe it or not kind of year, hasn't it? And also this morning, we want to once again remember Reverend George and our prayer and healing meditations, along with Bob and other members in the congregation. And let's start out by seeing and feeling the divine healing light already at work in their bodies and consciousness. And we're certain that the healing light is healing them and lifting them up in wonderful and amazing ways. And we look forward to hearing the stories of healing and miracles. Well, this morning, since it's the end of October, we got to talk about Halloween. All right, because you know, every year there are church groups and congregations that demand that Halloween should be banned. You know, and this year I understand that some groups are putting out their Santa Claus and Christmas decorations early in order to counteract the negative mojo from Halloween. And at least one church group says we're not going to have Halloween anymore. We're going to have Jesusween. And apparently Jesusween is a real thing. But you know, there are a lot of other people who say that, you know, come on, Halloween is just kids playing dress up and getting candy. And what's the matter with that? You know, and they say, well, look, if my daughter is 6 years old and wants to be a Disney princess, your church wants to ban the Disney princess? I mean, come on, give me a break. You know, seriously. I remember that when I used to live in Farmington, over on the west side of Farmington, I loved trick or treat. I had the best time on trick or treat because I would get vans full of kids and pickup trucks full of kids, hundreds of kids for trick or treat. And it was so fun because more than half of them were Navajo. And it was so much fun. I really enjoyed seeing these Navajo kids enjoying an ancient holiday that originated with my Celtic ancestors in the prehistory of Britain. You know, and then they say, well, see there, the prehistory of Britain. It's the witches and the ghosts and the demons, and it's this satanic ritual that the kids are going to get sucked into. You know, good heavens. Okay, so anyway, I thought it'd be a good idea if we could just settle this argument once and for all. All right, at least in our own minds. So let's talk about Halloween, because it is, after all, the most spiritual holiday. Now, the fact is that all the holidays on the Christian calendar are interesting hybrids. All right. Actually, traditional Christianity is an interesting hybrid in a lot of ways. It's very interesting because in many ways, traditional Christianity is the customs and the practices of the pagan folk of Northern Europe, just very nicely draped over a Jewish framework. And it's real interesting when you look at it like that. Because look, it was historically the problem that the early Christians had to solve was they didn't have any holidays. They didn't have any holidays of their own. And so they took the Jewish festival of Passover and turned it into Easter. And then later on added some elements of the pagan folk, you know, some bunny rabbits and some eggs and stuff, and they had a holiday. And the Jewish festival of Shavuot became Pentecost. And the pagan festival of Saturnalia on the 25th of December became Christmas. And then you add to that some candles from the Jewish festival of Hanukkah, which begins not coincidentally on the 25th day of the month of Kislev. And they had a holiday. But, oh, you knew that was coming, didn't you? But the Celtic festival of Samhain called for some additional creativity. Because Samhain, on the 40th day after the fall equinox, is a time when the barrier between the barrier that normally exists between the physical world and the lower levels of the spiritual world just gets much thinner than usual, much more porous than usual, so that communications between the dimensions is just easier. And so the early Christians decided to make the pagan festival of Samhain into All Hallows Eve, and they would dedicate it to the souls in purgatory. And then that would be balanced by All Saints' Day on November 1st, dedicated to the souls in heaven. So basically, it's very interesting. Basically, what they did was to baptize the pagan holidays so that the appearance of the holiday remained the same, essentially pagan. But the inner meaning of the holiday, the soul of the holiday, would become Christian. So, having said that, what about this holiday of Halloween? You know, it's hard to say. This holiday of Halloween, and So this morning, I want to share 4 things that make Halloween the most spiritual holiday, and it will not be the same for you after this. Now, to introduce the first element that makes Halloween the most spiritual holiday, we need to begin at the beginning by thinking about God. All right, what better place to begin? So let's start by asking a very fundamental question. All right, very fundamental question that the mystics have pondered throughout the centuries. What is God? You know, what is God? Well, and people have different answers. Well, God is everything. God is the creator. Well, God is light. God is consciousness. God is good. God is law. God is life. Yes, all correct. But even more basic than all of that, and some of you are already there, God is love. 1 John 4:16, God is love. And we know that, we sense that, and knowing that God is love is a very satisfying answer, especially when everything in the world out there seems to say otherwise. In the midst of that, we know that God is love. But now let's take it a step further. Yes, God is love, but what does love do? What does that mean? God is love. Okay, well, what does it mean? Now, here's the thing. On its most basic level, all right, on its most basic level, love means a desire to share and give. Now, remember that because we're going to come back to it again and again. Love is a desire to share and give. If it's love, it has to share because the nature of love is to share and give. And the sharing and the giving then create relationship with the one who is receiving. Very simple. And so when we say that God is love, what we mean is that God is giving and sharing with us right now. Okay, right now, right at this very moment, God is sharing with us light and life and consciousness and goodness and blessings and protection and guidance and mercy and blessings of every kind. Why? Well, because God is love and love is sharing. But there's the fundamental problem, all right? Because here it is. Here it is. As human beings, our nature is to receive, okay? We have to receive food. We have to receive air. We have to receive warmth. We have to receive care and shelter in order to live and survive. We have to receive love and attention in order to thrive and grow. And that's the fundamental reason for the appearance of separation between humanity and God. Here it is. The nature of God is to give and share, but the nature of humanity is to receive. The difference in nature creates the appearance of separation. Now, let's look at the book of Amos, the book of the prophet Amos, chapter 3, verse 3. It says, "Can two walk together unless they are in agreement?" You see, as long as the nature of God and the nature of humanity are not the same, not in agreement, there will continue to be an appearance of separation. But you knew that was coming. There is a cure. And Halloween, being the most spiritual holiday, is going to give us a very special opportunity to connect to the cure and the healing. So, what is the cure? Well, let's turn to the rabbi from Nazareth and let's ask him to teach us. Matthew chapter 5, verse 48. The rabbi says, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." That's heavy duty. What do you mean, be perfect? We're supposed to be perfect now? So what does it mean? Well, we are instructed by the rabbi. He says, become like your Father in heaven. be like him. In other words, become a being of sharing, so that everything we receive becomes for the purpose of sharing. I receive food. Why? To get energy to share light. I receive air. Why? For the purpose of sharing lessons and light. Whatever we receive, we do it for the purpose of sharing. That's how we become like God. That's how we become perfect, like our Father in heaven. Because that's what love does. It shares. Now, what does this have to do with Halloween, the most spiritual holiday? It has everything to do with Halloween. Let me explain. It's simple. It's simple, but Halloween's not ever going to be the same again. All right. See, we think it's the annual trick or treat routine. Well, it's not. It's more than that. We think it's carloads and truckloads and vanloads of kids dressed in crazy clothes. It's more than that. It's a tool. It's a technology that we can use. We think it's bag after bag after bag after bag after bag. The empty bags need a piece of candy. It's more than that. It's technology. It's opportunity that comes once a year. Opportunity to become like God. Listen, follow me in this. And even if you don't have kids coming to the door this year, like usual, just knowing this will heal and elevate your consciousness. Now listen, here it is. Every piece of candy that you give away, it's not just a piece of candy. It is an act of unconditional sharing. Why? Because you're giving with no expectation of getting anything back. That's real sharing. You see, you make every piece of candy that you give away a conscious act of becoming like God. Because you're sharing with a kid in exactly the same way that our Father in heaven shares with us. What did the rabbi tell us to do? Be perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect. But we need help to do that. And so once a year, kids put on funny clothes and they come to the door to help us. But wait, there's more. It gets better. Okay? On Halloween, I know the answer to this, but here's the question. On Halloween, do you ever get a kid who takes your candy without a word, without acknowledgement, without a thank you, without even looking at you? Just takes your candy, turns around to go and score candy at the next house. You get kids like that? I did. But here's the thing. Here's the secret. They're the best. They're the best. Pray that you get kids like that. Pray that all your trick-or-treat kids are like that. You see, that's exactly how most of us receive our blessings from God. We receive our blessings. We receive our light. We receive our life. We receive love and healing and protection and guidance and mercy and forgiveness and opportunity. And we receive it without a word, without a thank you, without acknowledging our Father and our Creator. And then we turn around and want more. All right, don't we do that? That's how we live our lives, isn't it? And so when you have a kid at the door on trick or treat who takes your candy without a thank you, without acknowledgement, then you have just shared in exactly the way God shares with us. In that moment, you will have become like God. In that moment, you will have become perfect, like our Father in heaven. Now, you might say, yeah, well, okay, sure, but it's just nice to be acknowledged. It's nice when they say thank you. And you're right. You're right. It is nice to be acknowledged. It is nice to hear thank you. Our ego craves acknowledgement. Our ego craves thanks and recognition. And if that desire for acknowledgement rises up in you, be grateful, be full of joy, and be excited because you just found a piece of ego, and you found it in a gentle and merciful way. And when you let go of that piece of ego, here's the thing, when you let go of that piece of ego, you will have let go of something that is keeping your prayers from being answered today. Halloween is the most spiritual holiday because it gives us an unprecedented opportunity for unselfish sharing. It gives us the opportunity to become like God, to become perfect in the moment of sharing like our Father in heaven. And it's so easy because the opportunity comes and rings your doorbell. Now, the second reason why Halloween is the most spiritual holiday is even simpler. Halloween reminds us, all of us, take off your mask. Halloween reminds all of us to take off our mask. Now, not our nice nose and mouth mask that we use to stop the spread of the virus. You hang on to that and you wear that, okay? Instead, Halloween reminds us to take off the mask of our ego. Take off the mask that says, I can't, I'm afraid. Well, I've never done it before. I'm too old. Well, I'm too young. I'm not smart enough and I don't have any talent. Take off that mask. It's not helping anymore. Share the gifts. Share the light and the beauty that only you can share. I can't. I'm afraid. I'm too old. Say, those are ego masks. We don't need that anymore. Especially the one that says I'm too old, right? Because look, all of a sudden we are the elders of the people. We are the elders of the people. And we have more to share and give than anyone else has, and we have more obligation to do it. And I'll tell you something, the fact that the young people are very often not interested simply proves how much they really do need what we have to give and share. Now, all right, so maybe some of us are a little too old to consider jumping out of airplanes. Maybe some of us are a minute too old to go snow skiing and Telluride. I get that. And sometimes I feel too old to walk up the stairs in the morning until I get my knees warmed up. You know what I mean? But we're never too old to love and give and share and help. Maybe we just share a smile. And you can tell when somebody's got a mask on and they're smiling. You can tell, you can see it in their face. Maybe it's just share a smile. Maybe it's to share laughter. Maybe it is to share the secret of the ages. I don't know, but take off the mask and share it. Say, don't be afraid. It's like I tell my son and daughter, don't be afraid. It's not about you, okay? Don't be self-conscious. It's not about you. It's about sharing and giving what only you can share and give. And we all want you to take off your mask and share it. We all want you to share your real self, your true beauty, because no one else can paint your painting. No one else can play your music. No one else can tell your stories. No one else can smile your smile. And Halloween is the most spiritual holiday, reminds us to take off the mask of fear and self-consciousness so we can really, really love one another and share what we came here to share. Take off the mask that says, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, and I don't have any talent. Those are the mask of the ego, and we need to let that stuff go. See, we're not on the earth to be little and small and quiet and obedient to the voice of the ego. We're on the earth to hear the voice of ego, and move forward anyway, because that's courage. And think about, just go back to Genesis. You think about what would have happened if Eve was walking through the garden. Remember that story? And the snake says, "Hi, Eve, come eat this apple." And what if Eve said, "No," and just kept walking? Hear the voice and keep walking. That's courage. You hear the voice of ego and you do it anyway. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you. When the voice of ego says, "I'm too old, I'm not smart enough, I don't have any talent anyway," don't argue with it. Okay? Don't argue with it. Agree with it. Yeah. Flip it on its head. Agree with it. You just say, "Ego, you're right. You're right. You are too old. You're not smart enough. And you don't have any talent. But God in me does. God in me is everything. God in me is immortal, timeless, ageless. God in me is love and sharing and giving. And I'm taking off the mask of ego so I can love and give and share, so that in that moment I can be perfect like my Father in heaven is perfect, because that's what the rabbi told me to do. Laugh. Remember to laugh at your own ego. When energy is stuck, laughter breaks up the blockage. No. So laugh at the limitations that your ego wants you to believe in. That's the third reason why Halloween is the most spiritual holiday. It reminds us not to take it so seriously, but laugh. Now, we've already learned that Halloween gives us the opportunity to share unconditionally and become like God. We've already learned that Halloween reminds us to take off our frightened, little, limited ego mask. And now Halloween reminds us to laugh and not take it all so seriously. It's like they say, don't take it so seriously. It's just Facebook. Remember to laugh. Proverbs 17:22, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine." We people on earth, we're a funny group anyway, because we all wear our funny ego masks and we believe the masks are who we really are. Laugh at your own ego, but have compassion for others and be patient with them, because they still believe their ego mask is real. Now, the final reason, the fourth reason why Halloween is the most spiritual holiday of all, is that Halloween has no teachings of its own. You have to connect to the wisdom for yourself. See, all the traditional religious holidays, all of them, come already prepackaged. They're prepackaged. That is, the traditional holidays come with the words that you're supposed to read. They come with the words that you're supposed to say. They come with the meaning and the feeling that you're supposed to get. Traditional holidays come prepackaged with everything you're supposed to need. It's like spoon feeding a toddler in a high chair. It's open wide, here it comes. And that's okay. That's okay for toddlers in a high chair. It's okay. But the thing of it is, if you're old enough to understand what I'm saying, then you're old enough to feed yourself and others. And it's time for us to connect to the light of God and awaken our own wisdom and our own path and our own true self, and share that with the world. That's the beauty and the miracle of Halloween. No special prayer, no special words, no special scripture, not even any special ritual. All we get is energy. All we get is consciousness. And that's more than enough to feed ourselves and others. It's like this. Like, here's the consciousness. Here it is. Now, with love and joy and humility, you connect to that. And then take it as far as you can. Then, with love and joy and humility, you can share it and feed others. That's why Halloween is the most spiritual holiday. It's a perfect opportunity to share unconditionally And in the moment of unconditional sharing with no expectation of return, we become perfect in that moment, like our Father in heaven is perfect. Halloween reminds us that we all wear the mask of ego, so take it off. And Halloween reminds us to laugh at ourselves and laugh at our own silliness and our own foolishness. And Halloween comes with no special prayers or rituals. It's just energy for us to connect to so that we can find our own path and our own wisdom. Thank you, friends. I love you guys. Happy Halloween.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. That was great.
You bet.
I loved that. I will never look at Halloween again the same way.
I
The
know.
fact that it is sharing and unconditional sharing just put a whole new perspective on not just Halloween, but a lot of part of my life where I receive so much that I take for granted and don't say thank you for it. And this is a great reminder and a great way to look at Halloween again. Thank you so much, Mark. Those were beautiful words and fun too.
Welcome.
So Mark, this feeding and sharing with each other, would you please
Say it whenever you want.
again about the rabbi, the illustration of heaven and hell, feeding each other? You know what I'm talking about? We have with the spoons.
Oh, I remember that one. The guy who went, I don't know why he went, but he went to,
Okay.
you can tell it because you probably remember it, Mark, but I remember it real well.
Mark's told me.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you. I remember. The story is told of one specific rabbi, and I'm sorry that I don't remember who it was. I think it was Rabbi Akiva in the first century. He prayed a prayer and he asked for a vision of heaven and hell. And so the angel came and said, okay, and took him to a place. And he could smell all the wonderful smells of the soup. You know, it's getting lunchtime for me. The lentil soup and the beef stew and the chicken with green chili and cheese. And you know. And everybody's sitting around the table with these beautiful soups, and everybody's starving. They're all starving because they all have a long spoon attached to their hand, and they can reach the soup, but then they can't get it to their mouth because the spoon is too long, and they're all miserable and starving. And the rabbi said, oh yeah, that's hell. That is absolutely hell. I get that.
Take your long spoon and hold it over there.
See, Annie's already figured it out. And so the angel took the rabbi to heaven. And so he could smell the lentil soup and the beef stew and the chicken with cheddar cheese and green chili. And just all smells so good. And everybody's sitting around the table and they're happy and they're laughing and they're very well fed because each one of them has dipped the long handled spoon. They have the same long handled spoon that they can't turn loose of. And they dip it in the soup and they're feeding one another.
Mm-hmm.
He said, that's heaven. Is sharing with one another, giving to one another, and taking care of one another.
I love that
That's the
illustration.
story.
I love that illustration. That is so pertinent to your message and everything.
It's profound.
I tell you, you hit on something that reminded me of a only real Halloween memory. But when I was a little kid in elementary school, I had gotten scarlet fever and I was down, and it was Halloween time. And by the next morning, I had more candy than any kid in that town because everybody went around and asked, you know, wanted to ask and share what they had with me. And I made out like a bandit, candy forever. But it was more than I seem to have a memory even at that time of going, something just happened here beyond candy. But I really, you know, I didn't have the words or whatever to think about it, but I knew it was different and I knew something special happened.
Mhm.
But during your message, I was just going, boy, do I know what happened. That was so cool. So thank you
These
for,
guys with beards.
Whoops.
Whoops, sorry.
Thank you, Mike. That's a better illustration than anything I could come up with.
oh, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
And yeah, thanks. We miss you. This time you can see me.
Think of it as I miss you all as well.
Yeah, come back. Come back and visit.
I want to do that.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was great.
Very welcome.
Anyone else have a some comment for Mark? If not,
I do.
okay.
I gotta tell you, I have 4 kids and we lived in the country on a farm. So trick or treating wasn't easy. I used to take them to town. And I have a commitment. I'm ready for the kids. I will pay back for all the candy my kids gotten. And I, as a little kid in Chicago, Jesus, seemed, if I recall, we carried pillowcases.
Uh-huh.
$1.25 candy bar was a nickel then,
Uh-huh.
but that was a high point. But like I said, I feel very committed. I'm looking forward. I hope they let the kids out to my house. I owe it big time, big time. Thank you.
Sweet.
So Mark, this is Mike again. I have to be taking all this time, but
See how you do.
when you were talking about the masks, another memory that crossed my mind is I was really into cartoons. A little kid, you know, TV was fairly new and everything. Anyway, there was this cartoon, it was called Cecil and the Sea Serpent.
Oh, I remember Cecil.
And you remember there was the kind of wicked guy, I don't know which one to call him, but he would always take his hand and put it in a mask and he'd pull it away and it was the same face. I don't know if you remember that.
Don't remember that detail.
Yeah, you know, at the end, he would grab it and you could see the rubber band stretch and everything, but he would take this mask and move it away from his face, but it was the same face behind the mask.
Was that Beanie and Cecil?
Funny.
Yeah, Benny and Cecil. That's right.
Yeah, we're right. I remember.
But anyway, I always thought I got a kick out of that. You're just unmasking it's just your outside mask is a parody of the inside mask. And you've got you can be the other behind it. I don't know. It just that mask thing just brought that memory up.
Well, we've had something that's really developed as pretty neat. We have George with us now.
Good.
All right.
You can talk to
Hey.
us.
Come on, George.
You might need to unmute.
I don't know if I can unmute him. I'll ask to unmute is all I can
Can
do.
you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
There you are.
yeah, George.
Hey.
Good to see all of you.
Oh,
I'm in a very vulnerable state right now. Most of the time when I talk about this, I end up crying because it's been such a process. But I have a hole in my throat, so I have to hold gauze over it when I talk. So that's what I'm doing. But I don't have a lot of time because I don't have a lot of energy. But I just wanted to thank you all for your love and support during this time, because it was a big process, but it was a success surgery. Things are healing. I have to eat out of my stomach. They have a tube that goes down into my stomach to feed me now. And then I have to go to radiation treatment for the next 6 weeks.
oh,
So I'll be busy with all of that. So blessings and thank you all. And I send love to you all for what you did for me. And I could feel, I told the doctor the day that I showed up for the operation, and I said, I have 30 plus people praying for you and me that this is a success.
more
And he
than
said, oh, I'm blessed. And I said, yes, you are. So am I. And so we were all blessed.
Smile.
Well, we love you, George. We love you. We hope that you get better really soon. We're sending you all the energy we got between you and Bob and Shelby and a few others. Keeps us pretty busy sharing, and we receive according to how much we share. So it's good.
Yeah.
Glad you came.
We're so sorry.
Glad to see you and blessings for speedy healing. We know you will.
Yeah, it will. I've never had to surrender to things as much as I've had to this process. I just have had to let it go and let them take care of me and do what they need to do. And I was just there. So anyway, I'm going back. I got to eat breakfast through my tube. So love to all.
Can you hear me?
Love.
All right.
Yeah. Hi, Annie.
Hi, George. Thank you so much. And a lot of prayers went out for you, dear.
I know. I felt them.
Thank you. You're going to be
Yeah.
wonderful. Better than ever.
Okay,
Yeah.
go
How's
eat
my voice
breakfast.
going?
It sounds good. It sounds better than it has in a long time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, definitely. That got cleared up. So
Yeah.
anyway, blessings to all. I'm going to go eat breakfast and sleep.
Okay. Love you.
Blessing to you.
Love you.
all.
Love
Take
you.
care.
Love you.
We do.
How wonderful to see him.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's looking good.
Fred, sing us a song.
If you don't, I will.
You need to mute everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to. Okay, everyone is muted.
All right. Well, since we're gonna get a little bit of rain, there's See That Rainbow Shine. Oh, the dark, dark was a coming and the day was a falling, and I thought that the day was done. But the rain kept raining and the clouds kept rolling, and they broke out the golden sun. And I see that rainbow shine, and I see that rainbow shine. Look away over yonder at the top of the mountain, and you'll see that rainbow shine. I was feeling so gloomy, so tired and so lonely. Yes, I felt so lonely and alone. But the sun kept shining and the rain kept raining, and the rainbow filled up my soul. And I see that rainbow shine, see that rainbow shine. Yes, I see that rainbow shine. Yeah, look away over yonder at the top of the mountain, and you'll see that rainbow shine. Oh, shine. Oh, my friends on the road, if you have a heavy load and you feel that life is way too hard for you, just keep your eyes on them changing skies. The light will come breaking through, and you see that rainbow shine. See that rainbow shine. Yes, you'll see that rainbow shine. yonder at the top of the mountain, and you'll see that rainbow shine. It's up that way.
Thank you, Fred. Excellent, excellent. Excellent. Well, our crew came through once again and gave us a wonderful, wonderful experience on Sunday morning here. And I thank each and every one of you that's participated, whether you were a presenter or you just came to show us your smiling, beautiful face. I thank you for coming. Does anyone have any more announcements? Lily? I think Lily's trying to get in there.
I just think that we should ask Fred and anybody else. I think we should do is dance. I think we'd all get a good laugh. We can dance in our homes like nobody's watching, but we're all together. So anyway, I think Fred should
Yes.
dance and be silly. Anyway, I love you guys. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, we might have been muted, but Annie and I were singing.
I would think.
Yeah, we were singing. And I have an announcement if I can do this. It's actually what I put in. Christine is circulating it on constant comment. And so I'm just going to read what I wrote. It says, "Dear fellow shippers, I am honored to be giving the Sunday talk 4 days before Thanksgiving. My topic will be about Thanksgiving itself and its various aspects, cultural, spiritual, and personal. To prepare this talk, I am reaching out to you, my spiritual family. What I'd like is for you to contribute to this talk some aspect of Thanksgiving you'd like to share with Fellowship of Spirit. It could be an experience you've had, fond or otherwise, a quote or prayer or poem, or even a picture or piece of art. You choose whatever you'd like to share and I'll edit it in. So please send me a link or text via my phone number or your contribution to my email inbox as text or an attachment. I've included my phone number and email address in the chat section of our Sunday Zoom meetings, which I didn't do, but I'll get it all off to you. I'd really love to hear from you all. Thank you." Yes, I see.
Thank you. That'll be the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I don't know what the date is, but
And remember, please, if you feel motivated to speak in December about any of the holiday or the new year or the end of the year subjects, please get in touch with us and let us know so we can put you on December's calendar. Thank you.
and we're not really about money, but we do have expenses going forward. And if you could, whatever you would normally put in the basket, if you could just send it to our address is
2009 East 13th Street, Farmington 87401. And you can also do PayPal. We have a PayPal account.
okay. Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone like to pray us out? Does someone have a benediction prayer that they would like to share?
I think Don had something he wanted to say.
Oh, I don't know. I don't see everybody at once. Here we go. Don, go ahead.
I'd like to ask everybody to say a prayer for Neva. She's been having some heart problems and may wind up in Albuquerque, but we're working on it. So I'd love to see everybody give you her prayers.
Oh, absolutely. We love you, Neva, and you got all of our energy and all of our love coming to you too.
Yeah, good healing
Thank
to
you.
you.
Hearts are with you, dear.
Thank you.
Love.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this world that you have given us. We thank you for putting us in these bodies to make us to learn how to be more one in the spirit. We thank you for all of the people that we are praying for today because they're having trouble with their bodies. Help us to remain loving and to learn more about love, and help us to be protected and to be healthy and well. Look after this fellowship of spirit, both our building and our relationships as we go forward. In the name of love and light, amen.
Amen.
All right.